This is the American Athletic Conference on ESPN. Welcome inside the raucous Edition Financial Arena. What an intriguing matchup we have here today, O'Donnell.
Well, this is a reloaded UCF team. Not necessarily a rebuild. A lot of new faces, but plenty of talent. They faced a College of Charleston team with one of the best players in all of college basketball in Grant Riller.
All right, let's take a look at the starting five for head coach Earl Grant and the Cougars. It's led by Grant Riller, Brevin Galloway in the backcourt. It is a strong backcourt, Mike.
Galloway is a 6'2 junior. Really, he's one of those players undersized but can guard a bigger wing.
And for UCF, Johnny Dawkins, here is his starting five.
I believe the key is Dazon Ingram. When he's rolling, this offense is really in sync, but his ability to get into the lane really is that difference maker for this UCF team.
And Night Nation is out. They are supporting their team and their head coach, Johnny Dawkins, in his fourth season. The former Naismith National Player of the Year from Duke back in 1986. What a job Johnny has done.
Averaged 22 wins the last 3 seasons. I mean, he has got this UCF Knights team in the right trajectory moving forward.
There's his big man, Colin Smith, who led the way with 18 points at Illinois State. We are ready for tip-off. And the opening tap controlled by Green, the star freshman for the Knights.
That's his first start of his career. As a freshman, has been lighting it up from the three-point line.
Man-to-man defense for head coach Earl Grant and the Cougars. Mahan, here's Diggs, short corner jumper, in and out. Smith the rebound, put back, won't fall, and out of bounds to the Cougars. Here's a good look at head coach Earl Grant, Mike. The 2019 a finalist for the Skip Prosser Man of the Year Award in his 6th season with College of Charleston.
Tell me if these are 3 good seasons here, Ari. The last 3 seasons, 25, 26, 24 wins for the Cougars. Not bad.
Yep, won the Colonial last year, both the regular season and the conference championship. Man-to-man D. There's Green guarding Riller to start. Crossover, fade away from the top of the key is in. Grant Riller.
I'm telling you right now, that's an impossible matchup for UCF. There is no way that Darren Green Jr., the freshman, has ever faced a scoring threat like Grant Riller.
Grant Riller, and there's a steal. Here comes Riller gliding in transition, lays it up and in. So a strong start for the Orlando natives.
Smooth. He's all about pace, change of speed. His ability to knife through the defense is what makes him so special.
Riller ranked number 20 nationally, averaging a team high 21.9 last season. And this year he's off to a great start, averaging 21.8. Ingram with that physical body, can't finish. Another opportunity and draws the foul, so to the line to shoot 2. Goes the left-hander, Dazon Ingram.
And this is exactly what Coach Earl Grant told me at shoot-around last night. Is he said he did not want any second-chance opportunities. He was terrified of players like Avery Diggs, Colin Smith, Dazon Ingram getting offensive rebounds and putbacks because of the size advantage.
Yep, and we've seen it 2 straight trips, and there is some concern from head coach Earl Grant. And what do you think of the 2 bigs in the starting 5 for Coach Dawkins?
Avery Diggs, another first start for him in his career this season. Colin Smith is one of the most underrated and really one of the best big men in the American Athletic Conference. I mean, he's one of those guys that's going to get you 14 and 10 every single night.
So Ingram puts 2 free throws in. He had 16 points in the opener victory over Prairie View. They transfer out of Alabama. Now Ingram on Ritter, a little hesitation, skip pass, finds the open shooter, and draining it is Brevin Galloway.
It's another example. Riller is so good. It's not just his scoring ability, but his ability to drive and kick.
Galloway's going to pull up for another 3, and that's in. 2 in a row for the junior out of Anderson, South Carolina.
We talk a lot about Riller's offense, but collectively Charleston prides themselves in the half-court defense. That's where they make their bread and butter.
Smith, this is where the Knights will have to go in the post. Collin turning again, and got fouled. Solid defense by O.C. Smart, but then a reach in, and those strides so long in the post for Smith.
Yeah, you and I have called a lot of UCF games the last few years, and Collin Smith's length is such a problem, especially if you have an undersized defender. This is a very difficult matchup for Smart.
O.C. 6'8" junior from Nigeria. Smith connects on the first free throw. UCF 3 for 3 from the line. Collin shooting 50% from the foul line coming into the action. A quick substitution as Mahan departs, and Matt Milan into the game. UCF hoping that he can find that shooting stroke, Mike.
Matt was one of the top 15 three-point shooters in all of college basketball after he transferred from William & Mary, and he's shooting 7% from the three-point line this season. He has not been able to find his rhythm at all.
Riller, no problem finding his rhythm. 3 for 3 to begin this game, and his backcourt mate Galloway has hit 2 triples.
Ari, the biggest difference between college players and pro players is that pro players make consistently contested jump shots, and that's exactly what Grant Riller does, is his ability to make contested jump shots, making it look easy. That's why he's going to be a pro.
Yeah, effortless out there. 2019 and 20 preseason Colonial Athletic Association Player of the Year. 2-time Lou Henson mid-major All-American team, 2018 and 2019. 5 for 5 start for College of Charleston. UCF 0 for 3 from the field. Diggs, his jump hook won't fall, and elevating for the rebound is Smart.
And Charleston won't push the pace unless they have to. If they get a steal, they'll be out in transition. If not, they want to run their offense. Good dump down by Smart.
Dunk. O.C. Smart, and that will draw a TO from head coach Johnny Dawkins. Riller so smooth playing that pick and roll, isn't he?
This is exactly how they jumped out against Oklahoma State. This is a very sound, very efficient Charleston team. They don't have a lot of firepower outside of Riller, but what they do have is players who don't make mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. They don't take bad shots. They'd like the game to be in the 60s, but if Riller is making shots and he's efficient in the pick and roll, this is a team. I mean, you're watching it right here, Ari. I mean, if Charleston ends up being a 13, 14 seed in the tournament, you don't want to play against this team and a guy like Riller. You know, that's why Charleston is one. Top shooting guard in all of college basketball. When people forget is, when you look at his stats, they're very, very good, right? He's over 20 points a game, but what you forget is that in league play, he's double-teamed 50% of the time in league play, and he still scores 20 points a game. Most players, you think of the Marcus Howards at Marquette, Cole Anthony of North Carolina, they're not getting double-teamed like Riller's getting double-teamed. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he still gets his 20 points.
And a local product, the senior out of Ocoee High School here in Orlando, only a 2-star recruit out of Ocoee, and yet he averaged 29 a game.
Yeah,
how does that happen, Mike?
He played for the Q6 All-Stars in AAU for Willie Anderson.
Green, his first shot hits the heel of the rim. How do so many scouts miss on a product like that?
Well, I think it's a combination of, he didn't play in any really big AAU tournaments, and on top of that,
put back, by Jasper.
He doesn't have a flashy game. If you look at his game, he's not dunking on anyone. He's not completely crossing players over. His fundamentals and his ball skills are some of the best in college hoops.
Ingram heads in and one. We're going to break on the other side. Ingram at the line to try to complete the three-point play. Grant Riller 3 for 3 from the field in his return to Orlando.
Well, in the most cliche way possible, Ari, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him, right? I mean, he has such a variety of offensive skills inside of his bag that I don't really know if there's one particular thing you can do, but you've got to pick him up at half court. You absolutely have to make him work on the defensive end. The best thing to do is to get Grant Riller in foul trouble. Who's ever playing against Riller on the offensive end for UCF, go at him. Make plays towards the rim so you can attack him and get him in foul trouble.
And UCF trying different guys on him early. Will they also show possibly a zone look?
You might see some zone. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they stayed in man, but they picked up Riller right at half court. You know, you don't want to let him get comfortable around the three-point line, get into his spot early. You need to bump him. You need to frustrate him. You need to make things awkward for him if you can.
Well, UCF just 1 for 6 from the field, but they are now 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And how about the Cougars? 7 of 8 start from the field.
Well, a good sign for UCF in the free throw line. They have been shooting under 60% as a team from the free throw line. They are one of the worst free throw shooters in college basketball this season.
Yeah, that's a major difference when you compare these two teams, because College of Charleston is at 77%, 39th in the nation, and that foul will go on Colin Smith.
For context, you know, if your team shoots 70% from the free throw line, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're above 75%, you are a really good free throw shooting team. 78% is borderline lights out.
Yeah, 77%. They average 72 points a game. So to the line for the Cougars is D'Angelo Epps. Epps, 6'4", freshman from Charlotte. And he connects. 17-7 Cougars. 7 of 8 from the field. That man has 2 triples. Brevin Galloway, who will take a break here. Substitute coming in is Jalen Richard, sophomore, averages over 6 points a game. There's Johnny Dawkins talking to his team. DeJesus is checked in for Coach Dawkins.
And he's a huge key, Cesar DeJesus. You know, he came off the bench last year, very limited minutes for this UCF team, where even the year before, his freshman year, he started every single game. Couldn't really find his rhythm last season playing behind guys like B.J. Taylor and Aubrey Dawkins. This season, the staff really felt that the trip they took in Spain, Cesar DeJesus regained his confidence, and the staff gained confidence in his game as well. He was really, really efficient running the point against pro teams in Spain.
Yeah, and Cesar now leads the team in assists, Mike, with 10. He had 5 dimes in the game at Illinois State. Coach Dawkins, a little concern on his face. His team down by 10 here early. Epps with his second free throw. Night Nation hooting it up, and does not bother the freshman, who is now 5 of 6 from the free throw line on the season.
I expected to see some pressure from Charleston. A little token man-to-man. They want to speed up UCF.
Good pass into Jesus out of the post by Diggs. Cesar. Here's Milan.
This is the shooting lineup for UCF. Frank Burtz, Matt Milan, Darren Green are all great three-point shooters.
Diggs from the right elbow, side of the rim, put back, wouldn't drop. Burtz kept it alive, but now out of the pack, Riller. Riller. He'll spot up for 3. And UCF fortunate, but Riller gets it back. Beautiful dump down for the lay-in by Epps.
Do you see that 1-2 knifes step, you know, by Riller? He just knifes through the defense. He's got great body control.
Oh, he is so smooth, isn't he, Mike? Never in a hurry, but quick. A screen and roll. Diggs is called for a walk. And we'll take a look at Riller.
NBA players play with pace and great balance. And you see Riller stop, go. He can go right foot, left foot, never loses control of his body.
Well, you talk about a prolific scorer in Grant Riller, but he leads the team coming in with 18 assists and 14 steals.
Well, and again, that's why he's so good. He's not just jacking up a bunch of shots. He's making the right play constantly, whether that's a jump shot for himself or a dump down for his teammate. Riller is the truth.
Pull-up jumper is strong. Battle for the rebound off the head of Diggs, and then a reach and foul will go on Green. That jumper was missed by Richard. Keep an eye on a run here They've got Riller on the bench resting with Charleston up 13.
Well, it's two sides of the coin, right? When you're up 13, you have an opportunity to get Riller some rest because he's usually going to play 35, 36 minutes a game. You can't take him out for an extended period of time. If you're UCF, you're exactly right, Ari. Can you get consistent stops in order to get out and transition more and cut this lead?
Substitute Coach Dawkins, Trey Fuller, the freshman on the court. And Colin Smith returns. Diggs departs along with Green. Richard. Jump pass Miller for three. NBA range. Battle for the rebound and controlled by Fuller. There's a talented freshman, 6'5". DeJesus gets the edge, hangs, banks it up, no good. Smith on the glass. His putback won't drop. And that tipped in. UCF needs all the help they can get to get one to drop.
Well, that's been UCF's most consistent offense, is the offensive rebounding for the Knights was such a worry part of the game for Coach Grant and Charleston. They did not want to see any second chance opportunities given up to UCF.
And the Knights with numerous shots that just rimmed out. That one straight in. Nice turnaround, Jay, by McManus. Jalen, a senior out of Charlotte, had 12 points, 9 rebounds on Tuesday night in the victory at Marshall. Beautiful ball fake by Smith, takes it to the rim again. That one rattles out and out of bounds to the Cougars.
I tell you what, though, for Charleston, they have to be careful in this situation because every single shot that goes up, Frank Burtz, Colin Smith, Dre Fuller, they're crashing the glass. And they're almost getting to the rim untouched. And that cannot happen if you're Charleston.
So Reddish running the point guard. Trevon, just a freshman out of Carrollton, Georgia. Richard, jump stop, hangs, shoots it up. No. Weak side rebound by Fuller. Outlet to Jesus. Transition. Milan to the rim. Scoops it up. No. Tip try. No. And again, UCF struggling to get one to drop. Nice take, though, by Matt. Want to see him aggressive offensively.
I think Matt Milan is mentally just not where he was the last few years at William and Mary. He's still trying to figure out how to play inside of this brand new offense for UCF.
And there's a steal by Milan. DeJesus spins around a Smith screen. Collin, mid-post. Skip past Burtz for three. Yes.
Well, we talk a lot about Colin Smith's ability to attack the rim, but he averages 2 assists a game at 6'11". And he's a good playmaker in conjunction with being a great athlete around the rim.
UCF in a zone. Riller still on the bench. Reddish directing traffic from the high point. Richard. The zone has slowed them down. They get a forced shot from Reddish out of it. DeJesus accelerating up the court. Bounce pass. Fuller, he lays it in.
And what happened in these last 2 minutes is you've got a new lineup for UCF. There's more energy. Grant Riller's on the bench. That is your time to strike now for UCF and for Charleston.
From Reddish.
It's good offense, though, for Charleston. That's the shot you want.
DeJesus loses his dribble. UCF on a 7-2 run since Riller went to the bench. DeJesus now will reset. Cesar patient to his left. Milan with under 10 on the shot clock. Now with 5. They've got to go. DeJesus with 4. 3. Trapped in the corner. And a turnover from Cesar DeJesus. We'll go to break. UCF on a 7-2 run to get back into this one.
You guard his ass, keep pressure on the fucking get that way.
And welcome back to UCF. Charleston and UCF 22-14. We're inside Addition Financial Arena. Big matchup here between two schools that have hopes on returning to the NCAA tournament.
You know, for UCF, you take a look at that last run. It came from energy on the defensive end and attacking the rim in the offensive glass. Didn't rely on contested jump shots. But now You've got to readjust your game plan. Will you sit in that zone? I don't think they will now that Grant Riller is checked back in for Charleston.
It was a 7-2 run for the Knights with Riller on the bench. As Coach Grant will get him his rest at the opportune times. Riller will be off the ball at the moment with Zep Jasper at the point.
That was a great period of rest for Riller. You know, the wheels didn't completely come off, even though UCF went on a little run. That three-minute stretch for Riller is everything for a guy who has a huge usage rate and plays a ton of minutes.
UCF hounding the perimeter now. Riller gets a defender in the air, leans in, leaves it short, but draws a late whistle foul.
Now, I thought Riller traveled on that. It looked like he picked up his pivot foot. But just the ball fake. Watch the ball fake, and I actually think he's okay. I'm okay with that call on the travel. It was his left foot that slid on the floor, not his pivot foot.
Well, he'll get away with that in the NBA.
Which we will probably see him do. I'm really high on Grant Riller.
88% free throw shooter. Misses the first of two. Good look at Grant. He came back to Orlando last year in the Advocare Invitational Disney World Tournament, put up 33 against UAB, and then came back and scored 32 against Memphis. Returning to his hometown. UCF able to beat the pressure. Ingram. Ball secure in his hands, the transfer out of Alabama.
Now Charleston in his zone.
UCF adjusting to that. The Jesus jump stop in the lane. The floater is in.
Well, we've seen the Jesus make those kind of plays. So that those plays where you kind of lean back in your seat, you say, whoa, that's a big-time move. You'd like to see more of that attacking the teeth of the defense from the Jesus.
Bounce pass underneath, and that is a 3-second violation against Charleston. Good idea with the interior feed, but here's Cesar attacking.
Yeah, he's so quick. You know, that 1-2 little bounce, and I think people forget, you know, he's got great quickness, but he's got great vertical leap as well, and he can really elevate over guards his size.
Another guy that plays with great tempo. In the post, Fuller. Fuller, difficult shot, nearly hit it. Cougars able to secure the rebound. Ahead they run. Into the hoop and scoring in transition is McManus.
How about the presence of mind by Galloway, that quick little touch pass to McManus. That was smooth.
Colin Smith, 4-inch height advantage. Spinning right, leans in. And
Colin Smith, he's going to have that every single time down the floor. I would expect Charleston to maybe reconsider just singling up Colin Smith in the post.
Smith averaging 13 a game, shooting 59% from the floor. McManus, mid-range jumper is right through. Pretty smooth release for Jalen.
McManus is having a really great game. Also a great season, too. That's 3 straight games of scoring in double figures. He's been really good for Charleston.
And Smith able to draw the foul on Smart. 2 free throws upcoming for Colin. As a look at Smith going to work in the post.
This is just too much time for him to decide what he wants to do. The double by Jasper comes way too late. You've got to get up into Colin Smith and force him to kick that out.
Fuller, DeJesus depart. Good minutes off of the bench. Mahan on the floor with Green. Here's Green, the freshman.
Interesting to see if Darren Green gets any open shots because the scatter report is out. He's the 4th best three-point shooter in the American Conference right now. Through just a few games into the season, he won't get many open looks.
Smith, difficult fadeaway. Good defense, solid defense by Charleston. You get him back to Darren Green, the freshman. He is 4th in the conference, 2.7 threes a game. He had 13 points against Illinois State. Also scored 13 against the Canes.
Well, I think the most important thing for Coach Dawkins is 2 things as well. Yeah, he's making shots, but he's not turning the ball over, and he's not a liability on defense either. A lot of times freshmen, you can only play them sparingly because they don't know how to guard. Darren Green can play team defense.
Jasper straight on three, hits the heel of
Nice
the rim.
pass.
Run out, and the dunk for Mayhem.
How about the pass ahead by Burtz?
Burtz almost gets another one, unable to save to the frustration of Frank. One of the reasons they like Burtz, his energy.
Absolutely. One of the many reasons why they like Frank Burtz is the hustle, the pass ahead. Little dunk by Mahan. Little stupidity here in Orlando.
And Earl Grant working the huddle with his team up 7. UCF changed their defense, Mike, and it's made an impact.
The zone has proved to be really effective for UCF. Watch what all Charleston does. Keeps it essentially on one side of the floor and takes a poorly contested deep three-point shot, which leads to a run-out dunk for UCF. The zone is working for UCF. Charleston needs to respond. You know, Ari, if you're just passing it around the zone and you think you're actually doing something by making the zone shift, that's not what makes the zone shift. You need to get it to the free throw line either through a dribble or through a pass, because you want the zone to suck in, which would lead then to a more less contested outside shot.
But right now, Knight's able to pressure the perimeter with 4 defenders. And most of it focusing on that man right there, Grant Riller. Riller, great start for number 1.
In the zone, this is a big lineup. This is a big zone lineup you're seeing. Mahan is over 6'4". Dejon Ingram 6'5". Avery Diggs is 6'11". Colin Smith is 6'11". This is a huge lineup for UCF.
Riller, followed by Green at the moment. Good pickup underneath. Great find. Excellent passing. Unable to finish there was Miller. He wanted basket interference.
You are exactly right. Great passing. That is a play that Miller must finish. That's why they miss Gerald Brantley so much.
Ingram. Here's Mahan. In the post they go to Smith. To his left, muscling it up and in. Count the basket and a foul on Miller.
If Charleston does not double Colin Smith in the post, Smith will have 20 points this afternoon, because he can take Smart, he can take Smith, he can take anybody else in the post essentially at will, and that's going to have to be an adjustment for the Cougars.
Smith in the line. Completes the three-point play. UCF now perfect at the free throw line. 6 out of 6. Cougars started out 20-7 since then. In the paint, hanging. That pass deflected out of bounds. Good hands by Mahan. Going back to the defensive end, Mike, why do you think that Charleston got away from the doubling of Smith? They started on early in the game running a trap at him.
You know, I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm not 100% sure, because it's not like UCF is making a bunch of threes. You know, they can leave the shooters open right now. And right now, there's really only one three-point shooter on the floor for UCF, and that's Darren Green Jr. Now is the time to double.
Rejected by Diggs. In transition, Mahan, NBA range. I don't know if he knew how far he was when he pulled up.
I think Coach Dawkins knows how far he was, and that might be on the film section tomorrow.
Riller hanging with the left hand.
Come on, man. The kid can scoot.
Riller.
The kid can scoot, Ari.
Riller the thriller here.
How about the inside-out left-hand crossover? He uses his body as a shield. Ari, this kid is a pro. There are very few players in college hoops that can make that kind of play.
Nails the free throw. Riller now with 10 points, leading all scorers. Burtz will check back for Coach Dawkins in a minute. Smith, he'll take that little jumper and nail it.
He can make that. His jump shooting form is a little bit unorthodox. It's a little awkward, but he is one of the more consistent perimeter shooters on this UCF team.
Knights within 5. They trail by 13. Riller, that behind the back with a dribble. Near steal by Green. Riller gets it back, now has the advantage. That pass off of the knee of McManus and out of bounds. Riller claiming that hit the knee of one of the Knights players.
You know, Ari, I have played a lot of basketball in my day. I've also, had the opportunity to be on a staff, broadcast a bunch of games. I've never seen an argument actually go your way as a player. I've never seen a call get overturned because you were upset with a call. It still baffles me to this day that there's so many arguments on the court.
Did you give up arguing? Is that what you're saying?
Man, I was the opposite. I tried to sweeten every ref, I mean, to me, it came down to a relationship. If the ref liked me, I probably got 1 or 2 calls a game.
You're still working the refs.
I was
before
selling.
your broadcast.
You got to sell. You always got to be in sell mode.
And look at that jumper out of the corner. So smooth. Grant Riller.
Ghostface Rilla. The kid is tough.
Oh, into the game here, holding the ball, Doumbia. Ibrahim Famuke Doumbia. Out of Mali, the sophomore 4-star recruit. Green from the free throw line. May have got that arm touched on the release. Charleston up 7 here at UCF. Jasper bothered by Burtz. Nice find underneath. And there is Riller. Step back. Haynes shoots no good. Miller keeps it alive. They reset with Galloway, who has 2 triples. A touch pass from Riller. Miller finds Galloway. Looking for number 3, and he has it.
That's a beautiful skip pass by Sam Miller as well.
Galloway. Take a look at the jumper in the corner from Riller. He can score from anywhere on the court.
I mean, it's just a one quick little step. For 99.9% of players in college basketball, a dribble step back in the deep right corner in 2-point range is a terrible shot. For Grant Riller, that's a regular shot.
There's Grant's numbers, 5 for 7, 3 assists. Burtz out of the short corner, the floater is in.
I said it earlier, Ari. The difference between college players and pro players is that pro players consistently make contested jump shots.
Now, Riller with a little James Harden-like pullback.
Very much so, yeah.
McManus is calling for a walk. Well, let's go to break here. Under 4 minutes. Charleston by 8. The Cougars in charge.
Well, Colin Smith has been really the only bright spot for UCF in this first half. He's really unstoppable in the post. On the offensive glass, he's been really efficient, aggressive, active. Charleston has not been able to put a body on him. He's been relentless on the boards. If you try to play him straight up, he's going to go over the top of you, or he's got a great passing abilities. You see that kick out to Burtz. Try to play him one-on-one again. Nope, back you down, finish over top of you. His length, his patience, his vision is really what separates Colin Smith from a lot of the other front court players you normally see.
9 points for Smith to go along with 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 18 points at Illinois State last week, averaging 13 a game, 59% shooting from the field. So obviously the object is get that man some touches, because as you say, Mike, not only can he finish, but he's an excellent assist man.
Well, we haven't seen his entire package yet for a season, only because that he played behind Taco Fall last year.
Yeah.
And when you're playing behind maybe the best post player on both ends of the floor in the country, your touches, your minutes, they're going to diminish. I mean, he is the focal point of the offense for UCF this season.
Ingram waiting for Doumbia to flash, uses a Smith screen instead. Green being harassed on the perimeter. Excellent 3-point shooter. Good find by Burtz. Excellent ball rotation. Ingram, yes, and one.
Outside of Colin Smith, Dazon Ingram is that guy that can really cut this lead down and bring UCF back into this game. Ingram, you have to remember, was a starting point guard for Alabama before he transferred as a graduate. I mean, this is a high-level, big-time point guard that UCF was able to get as a graduate senior.
7 points for Dazon, former Alabama Mr. Basketball. He eclipsed the 1,000-point mark in the game against the University of Miami. UCF back to a man-to-man defense with Ritter on the bench, and Grant now strolling to the scorer's table to check back in. Galloway, who has 3 triples. Reddish, jump pass behind, and that's a charge on Reddish. Taken by the big man Smith.
That's the other thing about Colin Smith. I've seen him take a charge just about every single game. You got to remember, he's 6'11". His wingspan is 7 foot, and he will block shots, but he is really crafty above that restricted circle, getting that charge, taking his body.
Yeah, high basketball IQ, doesn't he? Smith under pressure says, I got this. And the 6'11" center will carry it up over the timeline himself.
This is a mismatch nightmare for Charles. Okay, they were able to switch. Finally, Epson, Miller were able to switch.
In the corner, Doumbia for 3, and air ball. Burtz is there to collect. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Ingram with 4, forces it up, hits the front rim, and Ritter able to seize the rebound. Grant grimacing in the backcourt. I don't know if he was bumped. Looks to be okay. To his left. Beautiful bounce pass. Rejected by Smith. Outlet pass, Burtz. Burtz across the lane. His pass picked off. And now Charleston back the other way.
And Frank Burtz tried to get way too cute with the ball. You need to come down that with 2 hands, even if you're out of control. You don't want to force anything. I mean, possessions are a gift right now because Charleston's playing really well.
Ritter changes paces so nicely. Unable to finish underneath off the nice feed was Epps.
That's the problem with this Charleston team. That's the 5th really good pass by Riller that's been unable to be converted by one of his teammates.
Ingram was tripped up. They play on. Smith bumped on the catch. There's the double. Beautiful pass, and Doumbia lays it in.
How about that pass? All right.
Beautiful.
You're trapped. You're 6'11". You're trapped in the deep corner, and you make a pass like that. High IQ, Ari.
Doumbia with his 2nd bucket of the season. Doumbia gives him a lot of energy at 7 rebounds in 9 minutes against UM.
He's been in and out of the starting lineup. He's really trying to find his place. There's another charge.
There's another charge taken by Colin Smith, who's playing with that face mask as to begin the game.
It looked like his feet were inside of the restricted circle, but it was, let's see if he got him outside.
Oh, it just jumped out.
Boy, I don't know. I think his right heel was on the restricted circle, but regardless, 6'11", giving up your body, taking it to the chest. You couldn't do that, Ari.
Oh, no. I'd be running out of the way.
You're getting jumped over. You know, guys like you and I get jumped over.
And Smith again will take it up across the timeline. Dre Fuller back on the court for Coach Dawkins. Burtz on the wing. Entry feed. Ingram in the post is doubled. Fuller for 3. Bam!
Well, that's actually a great design play by Coach Dawkins. Dazon Ingram had the mismatch. They put him in the post as the point guard. He drew a double team, kick out to the freshman, Dre Fuller, knocks down the tray ball.
10-0 UCF run. Dre Fuller with his first 2 hoops as a night. Riller from the right elbow, that's it.
This is shades of C.J. McCollum. That's his player comp. Under control,
I like it.
Stop, go, smooth pull up. Man, the kid is tough.
Really good. 20 seconds remaining in the first half. UCF looks to tie it here with a deuce and take the lead with a train. 8 seconds.
Oh, we got
Fuller,
him.
great move, and draws the reach in. A little hesitation move by Dre.
Oh, man. He made a move, a stop and go. Watch this, bang, little hezzy, quick push. Nice.
Dre Fuller, nominated for the McDonald's All-American game out of Admiral Farragut Academy in St. Petersburg.
He redshirted last year, wasn't physically ready yet, and he's playing behind just 3 really good guards in B.J. Taylor, Aubrey Dawkins, and Cesar DeJesus. There just wasn't minutes for him, and physically he wasn't ready to play. Coach Dawkins and staff felt that that was the best thing for him to do was redshirt and getting valuable minutes this season.
Dre able to draw UCF to within 6 seconds. Richard will inbound. Pressure. Ritter gliding in with one. Does not get the shot off, stolen by Green on the trail.
That's the third time the freshman, Darren Green, stepping up to the challenge and getting a deflection against one of the best scorers that we've seen in college basketball. The Knights and the zone defense climbing back from a deficit, only down one, really trying to claw back through their defense first, and then it's been Colin Smith having a great first half. Expect Charleston, they're going to have to double Colin Smith coming out.
(37-36) Charleston. We expected a good one here at UCF, and that's exactly what we have. Welcome back, everybody. Ari Shattuck, Mike O'Donnell, and terrific first half. Ritter and Colin Smith making a huge impact.
Charleston came out firing, playing great. Riller's on fire. He's got 14 first half points, and it really wasn't until Riller came out of the game until UCF was able to find their rhythm, and they
and Colonial make a case two this year.
Well, talking with media and leaders around the Colonial, they want to get back to the old days to where it's a two-big league. They feel that Hofstra and Charleston can really carry that flag, particularly Charleston, who doesn't have a football team. They can pour a lot of resources into their men's basketball program. They want to get back to a two-big league conference, but you have to remember, too, Ari, 6 years ago during a lot of conference realignment, the Horizon League and the Colonial were the two leagues that were most affected by that realignment. So the Colonial is still trying to find their footing after all those teams left, particularly VCU out of the Colonial.
Well, College of Charleston getting help. Ritter leading the way with 14. 9 points from Brevin Galloway, his backcourt mate. 3 trays for Galloway. There's your score at the half. Welcome back to UCF. Cougars by 1 at the half here at Addition Financial Arena. Last year, what a year it was. 24 victories, first round victory, and there's Johnny Dawkins in so close to defeating the 1-seed Duke.
I mean, was that one of the greatest storylines of March Madness last season when you've got the Coach K disciple, Johnny Dawkins, one of the former greatest college basketball players of all time, almost saved Coach K's job back in the day, and really puts together one of the best scatter reports against Duke all season. It really kind of gave the rest of the country the blueprint on how to beat that Duke team.
Yeah, Aubrey Dawkins scoring 32 in that game, but that final shot rimming around every Knight fan on the edge of their seat.
And every Knight fan is really mad at you for reminding them of what actually happened in that play, but it was really an unbelievable game plan put in place by the staff. Aubrey Dawkins was phenomenal. B.J. Taylor, Taco Fall was really, really good, slowing down R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson around the rim. Just one of the best college basketball games in the tournament I've seen in a long time.
Well, they lose B.J. Taco, Aubrey, Chad Brown. It is a reloaded roster for Johnny Dawkins and the Knights.
Not a rebuild. You know, usually with a rebuild, you're doing with a lot of freshmen and sophomores. The difference with what Coach Johnny Dawkins said, we have to continue this momentum. We had the NIT 2 years ago, first win in the NCAA tournament. You advance in the NCAA tournament. How do you continue momentum? And you do that with transfers. 6 transfers. You have two true freshmen, 1 redshirt freshman. But there are immediate contributors to this team. Dazon Ingram, Matt Milan, Brandon Mahan are all 3 players that played or were starters, played big minutes, were major contributors to their former teams. Ingram at Alabama, Milan at William & Mary, Mayhem at Texas A&M, and they're coming in and getting the starting nod. So you're replacing 4 professional players with players who made major contributions to their team last year instead of relying on freshmen and sophomores to try and figure it out.
Yeah, not a small task, replacing 80% of your offense. Charleston by 1 at the half. 37-36 here at UCF. Charleston by 1 point. The Cougars riding Grant Riller, their All-American candidate. 14 points, 3 assists in his return here to Orlando.
You know, he really should have about 8 assists in that first half. Charleston missed a lot of bunnies around the rim, being a recipient from great passes from Riller. But this kid is a pro. Everything that he does is at a professional level. He makes contested jump shots. He always makes the right play. He only has 1 turnover when you know he's facing the defensive scheme every single time he steps onto the court. That deep corner three is absurd on so many levels because it's such a highly contested shot. The kid is tough.
Cougar fans rocking and rolling here with their team up by 1 at UCF behind Grant Riller's 14 points. Night Nation ready for a big second half from their UCF Knights, who are 2-1 on the season. Here are our first half stats.
Points off turnovers. Those 9 points off of Charleston turnovers for UCF is a big deal because the majority of those turnovers came in that zone. And that zone has proven to be highly effective for UCF, but they don't start. Actually, yes, they do start in that 2-3 extended zone.
And for the Knights, free throw shooting a concern coming in, just 59%. They shoot 8 of 9 from the foul line. Wide open 15-footer, a brick. That's the look that they want against the zone. Can't get a better look than that.
Against any zone. If you can get the ball at the free throw line, you've won 90% of the battle.
Man-to-man deep. Jasper, a solid defender. Backdoor Burtz scores, and UCF has the lead by 1.
You know, there's a lot of Joel Embiid in Colin Smith's game because of his ability to pass and kind of see above the defense. I mean, that was a gorgeous pass by Colin Smith.
Beautiful find by Colin, giving UCF their first lead of the day. Smith jumps out at McManus this time. Riller splits 2 defenders. Good dig by DeJesus to slow him down. Three-pointer from distance. Nearly hit it was Galloway, as he has 3 triples already. And a turnover by UCF as they stepped out of bounds.
You see, most times teams will double Riller. Whether you're in a zone or man, this is going to happen. It's going to come. Most players would travel on that play, or they throw a turnover. But because of Riller's ability to be under control, he's able to find a teammate and pass out of the trap. Good players know how to avoid the double team. Great players know how to score out of it, and that's what Riller's been able to do.
Jasper handling the point guard position. One of the top defenders on this team. Good ball movement on the perimeter as they try to find a solution against this zone. That ball a little bit low for O.C. Smart to handle.
I'm a big body language guy, Ari. I'm old school like that. There's a little sense of frustration on Grant Riller's face after that pass because those are plays that the Cougars normally make. You need to know that a pass is coming if Grant Riller is driving.
Hand off to DeJesus. Pick and roll with Smith. Beautifully done. Executed to perfection by the Knights.
Well, if you can orchestrate a pick and roll while Grant Riller's on the weak side, he doesn't want to contest a shot around the rim against a forward because he doesn't want to foul.
Riller drifting left. Difficult shot. Ingram elevates for the rebound. Here comes Dazon leading the attack. To Birch for 3. High archer, too strong. Rebound batted out of bounds. Interesting that Dre Fuller got this start here in the second half, Mike. A freshman after a strong first stanza.
Well, I think when you're Coach Dawkins, when you're losing to a team that on paper you shouldn't lose to, you're looking for energy first. You're not necessarily looking for points, and Dre Fuller gave energy off the bench, and that's why you get to start.
Riller spinning, runs into Smith. In the corner, good recovery defensively by UCF, forcing a tough shot, and Colin Smith retrieves the rebound.
A textbook closeout from Dazon Ingram.
Fuller. Smith from 15. One-handed rebound pulled by McManus.
It was actually a bad pass from Dre Fuller. Colin Smith bailed him out with those go-go gadget arms of his.
Look at the hesitation and the dump off for the dunk by Smart. Gifted play, the facilitator, Grant Riller. Mike Riller showing the skills that he can transition, play point guard to the next level.
Well, he's just a fundamentally sound elite scorer, and that doesn't always happen. You don't find guys that are just big-time scorers, but then can also fundamentally make the right play around the rim. He doesn't force anything.
No.
He takes what the defense gives him.
8 point for Dre Fuller now. A lean-in jumper would drop. Second chance effort put down by Brevin Galloway. Brevin, who averages over 11 a game, 6'2", 215-pound backcourt player. DeJesus for three. Good.
It's a great kick out as well. You're seeing Charleston be ultra consumed with plays around the rim. But the three-point shot will be open.
5 points now for Cesar off of the bench. Jasper works against the UCF zone, which has been a difference maker. Skip pass. Galloway. Checked by Fuller. 5 seconds to shoot. Jasper shovel pass, a little hot to handle, and that results in a turnover.
You might look at that play and say, you got to catch that ball, but Jasper can't put his teammate. You can't throw a bullet pass like that. The Cougars need to find a better rhythm here in the second half. Well, it's a continuation here from the end of the second half where the UCF Knights zone defense was really bothering Charleston in the first half. There have not been any adjustments made by Charleston offensively because their offense is stagnant. They can't seem to find Riller in the right spots, and there are too many turnovers here early in the first half. What I would like to see from Charleston is more dribble penetration against the zone. If it's not Riller, nobody else is trying to make a play, and that's a problem.
Well, head coach Earl Grant, the 2017 Colonial Athletic Association Coach of the Year, searching for answers. Meanwhile, it's been the bench play for Johnny Dawkins. They have outscored the Cougars 22-4 from the bench. DeJesus works against the quick Zep Jasper. Smith high post looking for Fuller backdoor. Collin with those big strides, able to keep the handle, count it, and a foul.
You said it perfectly, Ari. Colin Smith takes one step, and he's at the rim from the free throw line, whereas a lot of players might take 2 steps. Watch this one dribble, boom, he gets bumped, and he's still close to the rim. You can't swipe at the basketball against Colin Smith. He's too strong. You either have to totally body him up, or you must go in with 2 hands.
Collin completes the three-point play now with 14 points for his head coach Johnny Dawkins, who has his jersey retired. It was retired by Duke back in 1996, number 24. Here's Riller off the pick and roll, leans in, draws contact, counted in a foul. That is a pro move right there.
Come on, that's too good. They have to starting to figure out the ball screen here. If you're going to go man at all against Charleston, they're going to go right to the ball screen look. And Riller is one of the best players inside the ball screen. In fact, Ari, last season, Grant Riller scored the most points in the pick and roll out of any player in college basketball last season. He is that efficient in the pick and roll.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all having witnessed him here today. Colin Smith has picked up his second personal. Riller, about the only thing he hasn't done superbly here today is shoot free throws. He's actually missed 2 of them, came in at 88%. DeJesus looking to swing the ball. His little pull-up from 17 is shy, and there's Riller doing it on the defensive glass as well.
With a look of much dismay from Coach Dawkins.
Look at that crossover. Whips a pass for Miller. Underneath, nice little reverse by Miller. His first bucket.
Coach Grant told me last night the X factor for this team is Sam Miller. He is the guy, because of his strength and touch around the rim, could be a difference maker because of how much attention Grant Riller receives.
There's Miller with a rebound. It was Miller time in the performance against Marshall on Tuesday, where he scored 13.6 of 7 from the field. Wide open, Galloway. Miller battling for the rebound, deflected, picked up by Jasper. Finds Riller as 2 men jump at him. And a reach-in foul called on Dre Fuller.
Just puts so much pressure on you. You think you may have got to stop. Charleston gets an offensive rebound. They kick out to Riller. He's got wide open space. A one-on-one battle for Riller it's basically just a wide open lane. You need multiple defenders to slow him down.
Into the game is Richard. And for Johnny Dawkins, returning the pure shooting freshman, Darren Green. Richard, open corner 3, shot it too strong. Fuller Outlet pass. Smith is there to retrieve it and draws the foul. You talked about his speed. How about that end-to-end quickness from Colin Smith?
Well, first, you must give credit to Dre Fuller. That push-out pass in transition to 6'11" Colin Smith last season when I was watching. I watched about 4 practices in a row for UCF, and all that speed that UCF had last season, except for Taco Fall, Colin Smith never lost a sprint in practice. And you think about how quick and how great the guards were for UCF last season. The kid is just a deer in transition.
And Colin now 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He has 14 points. To go along with 7 rebounds, 3 assists. And able to convert that. Colin puts the Knights up by 4. Grant Riller from Ocoee High School in the Orlando area. Uses that high pick. Changes speed so easily.
You got to shoot that if you're reps the first time. That's a good play, but you got to take those open looks when you get them around the rim.
Just a freshman, D'Angelo. Coach Grant very high on him. Says plays with a lot of spirit and grit. Here's Green, another talented freshman. Ingram to the hoop, in the corner, open 3 to Jesus. Rims out and Miller secures the rebound. Here comes Riller in transition. To the rim and draws the foul. So shifty.
Shifty, crafty, all those cliche words we love to use. The bottom line is his confidence matched up with his skill set.
Yes.
It's hard to really slow a player down like that because he's not slow. It's not like he's this incredible athlete, but he understands how to play. He's athletic enough to make plays around the rim that won't necessarily ooh and ah you, but then you look at the stat sheet and you say, my gosh, the kid had 26 points because he gets 8 or 9 of them from the free throw line.
And there's Riller's mom in the stands. Evidently, she will not look when he shoots a free throw. And somebody has to tell her he shoots 88%. He's rarely going to miss.
It's only weird if it doesn't work, Ari.
De Jesus checked by Richard. Smith calling forward in the post, receives it against Miller. Green for 3. Good looking release. Richard surveys as he comes across. Riller skip past Galloway. Galloway.
Miller can shoot that.
And Miller trains it right on Mike O'Donnell's call.
Eat your heart out, Tony Romo. Miller is gifted enough to where he can catch and shoot with space, that 3. That's why, again, go back to the fact Miller could be that X factor, especially in that pick and roll with Grant Riller.
A transfer out of Dayton, has 5 points here this afternoon. Averages 8 points, 8 rebounds per contest. Ingram, a little ISO, a little jab step, now takes the shot short. Quick outlet, good catch there in traffic by Epps.
I think Daison Ingram's been way too quiet this game. I don't think he's been in attack mode nearly as enough.
Riller finally misses one. Good defense by DeJesus. Ingram.
Pretty pass.
Milan for 3, yes. That's a big one for Matt.
Is this the game that gets Matt Milan out of his rut? And you told me, what's the story from last season? Because at William & Mary's, same conference as College of Charleston. How much did he have against Charleston last season?
Yeah, Milan lit it up against the Cougars with 27. That was last February.
How about that?
So that'll take us to break. What a game we have. Locked at 52. We are tied at 52. Grant Riller 7 for 11 from the field. UCF has slowed him down just a bit here in the second half, Mike.
Ari, man, you are a tough teacher. I mean, there's 11:52 left in this game, and he's got 18 points. What else do you want from him? Come on, man. No, I'm kidding. You're right. In this first chunk of the second half, UCF has done a nice job slowing him down, partly, in fact, because Charleston's perimeter players have not been able to make shots on the outside. It's really been Miller Sam Miller then on the inside has a couple of buckets, but outside of that, there needs to be more production from the perimeter players outside of Grant Riller for Charleston.
Yeah, Riller also contributing 4 assists and 3 rebounds. He's 0 for 2 from beyond the arc, so UCF has done a nice job running out at him on the perimeter.
You're a tough critic, Ari, man. Kid's got 18 points. There's 11:30 left in the game.
Hanging, there's a late whistle comes in. Looks like it'll be a blocking foul against Smith as the official helps Colin to his feet. Did they ever help you to your feet, Mike?
No, I was always on my own all the time. Yeah. Although the refs used to get really upset at me because every time I took the ball out of bounds for a baseline out of bounds play, I would fake tie my shoes to make sure that my teammates were set up, because if your shoelaces are untied, that means you get a little extra time. You know, you have to kind of stop the action until you tie your shoes. It's the game within the game, Ari. You got to play,
yes,
man.
Yes. I've seen those tricks during the broadcast as well, Mike.
It's a heady play.
Diggs replaces Smith here. Colin has picked up his 3rd foul with just under 12 minutes to play here in this one. The Cougars have gone back up by 2 after the Jalen Richard 2 free throws. The Sun Diggs and Green overplayed by Ritter.
That was an excellent job by Darren Green of meeting the basketball.
Fuller for 3 is deep. Weak side rebound. Putback is in from Avery Diggs.
Avery Diggs is the energy bringer off the bench for UCF. 6'11" junior. Lost 16 pounds, down 6% body fat since coming on campus. Really changed his body in the weight room, according to UCF strength coach Alex Parr.
First bucket in the lane, hanging, rim no, tipped in by Epps. Off of the miss by Tucker. Epps very athletic.
Yeah, the freshman has had a couple nice plays for the Cougars.
Ingram finds Fuller again, rimming, yes.
Well, I called Dazon Ingram out earlier, about a few minutes ago, for not being aggressive enough, not attacking enough. But that's his game. He's got that D'Angelo Russell kind of slice through the defense and kick out. Really smooth part of his game.
How about Dre Fuller? 11 points here this afternoon.
A huge production from the bench for the Knights.
Richard for 3, and there's the answer from the Cougars as they go back on top by a bucket. 59-57, Charleston. Welcome back, everybody. UCF Knight Nation, their team down by a deuce here. Football team is up O'Donnell by 10 late in the 4th at Tulane, 34-24.
This is a basketball game, Art. What are you doing updating football scores? That's ridiculous.
There's the Cougar huddle led by Coach Earl Grant, the 2017 NABC All-District Coach of the Year, and Johnny Dawkins, who coached 10 years under Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, and what a job he has done here with UCF in his 4th season.
Had a chance to really watch a lot of coaches, and Coach Dawkins is one of the best on-the-court teachers in the game that we have today. And it's just done an unbelievable job. Averaged 22 wins the last 3 years at UCF. Has got this program treading in the right direction.
And a turnover here. Riller behind his back in transition, gliding, hanging, shooting up. No, Ingram, strong rebound from the weak side and draws the contact and the foul on Richard.
I would never leave you in the middle of a broadcast, Ari, but if Riller would have made that shot, I would have thought about leaving. No, I just would have thought about it, at least.
Well, Grant Riller, he has 1,883 points scored, which ranks him 4th in active scoring leaders in the NCAA Division I.
This has been one of the more efficient games offensively for UCF. 13 assists to only 6 turnovers. The Knights have been really, really good in the half court at running their offense.
Well played game here. Milan Entry feed into Diggs with the left hand, bothered by Miller, and then over the back foul called on Diggs.
That's a great defensive play by Miller. Straight up, straight down. He contested the shot without fouling. Avery Diggs, you can't go over the back 94 feet from the other bucket.
Riller handling the point at the moment. Checked by Fuller. Gets that high pick from Miller. Now works around it. Behind the back to Miller for three. Miller was looking for his second triple. Back to the hoop. Knocked away, but a foul called. Tucker picked up that loose ball. And Brendan, just a freshman, will head to the free throw line.
I really like this freshman for Charleston, Brendan Tucker. This is a kid, 3-star recruit. He was the 11th ranked prospect coming out of the state of Georgia. He had offers from Clemson, Northwestern, Seton Hall, Virginia Tech, Xavier, and really committed to being the next guy up for College of Charleston. The problem with Tucker, it's not his game. He's playing behind Grant Riller, who's maybe the second best scoring guard in college basketball behind Marcus Howard of Marquette. This is a great opportunity for him to learn how to play the right way, but this kid will have a really bright future for Charleston.
Yeah, he was ranked by some as a 4-star recruit, 21st ranked combo guard coming out of the nation. Fuller comes up top, Burtz. Good movement here, good flow. DeJesus to the rim, scoops it up short. That's one that Cesar would normally finish. Look at the hustle, though, on the floor to tie up Richard.
This is the best that Dre Fuller has played all season. And it's not necessarily the buckets that he's making, it's the energy that he's bringing. Is coming off the bench, is he that spark that I think Coach Johnny Dawkins has been looking for? Who's the guy that's going to come off the bench in the backcourt and provide us energy? And right now, it's been Dre Fuller.
Yep, Dre with 11 points. Remains on the court. It is UCF possession after the tie-up. Knights trail by 2 here, under 9 minutes. This very intriguing matchup between these two schools. Both NCAA tournament teams last season. UCF with solid hopes on winning their conference back-to-back seasons.
They picked second in the preseason poll, and I believe that Charleston will end up winning the Colonial tournament and go in the NCAA tournament. And this is a team that you just do not want to see, especially if they're a 14, 15 seed. You don't want to see Grant Riller in the first round of the tournament.
Now, Riller can light you up for 30, 40 points and win a game, at least a game. That fadeaway well defended by UCF there, as they have made it difficult here in the second half for Grant. DeJesus lost his footing, able to keep it in play though. Alon has a triple in this one. Smith through the lane, draws contact, and the foul on Miller.
They got away from doubling Colin Smith. And when you do that, you're susceptible to Colin Smith's ability to not just score over you, but score through you. And we talk about his length and athleticism, but he's very strong as well. There aren't many players in college hoops that can go toe-to-toe with Colin Smith 3 feet from the rim.
And that breaks a 2-minute and 18-second scoreless streak for UCF. The big man out of Jacksonville connecting on the first of 2. Transfer out of George Washington. Delivers and connects on the second. We've got another tie ball game. We thought this one would be tight.
Yeah.
It has not disappointed.
There's one area of concern for UCF, though. When Dazon Ingram is on the bench, that's your playmaker. And who is the next guy? Who's the next guy that can really step up? And it's not about necessarily making shots. It's orchestrating the offense and finding a rhythm offensively. And to me, that player, that has to be Cesar DeJesus.
DeJesus checking. Zep Jasper. Here's Riller. Mahan returns to the lineup for Coach Dawkins. Riller thought about the long distance 3. Maneuvers in the paint, opens up a shot for Richard. His pull-up J is strong, and Mahan able to box out for the weak side rebound. Smith has dribbled it up the court numerous times here, the 6'11 center. UCF looking to grab the lead here. 7:40 to play. Smith puts his shoulder down and scores. Miller wanted a charge.
Colin Smith, rim, collision course. I mean, just right now, unstoppable.
Knights by 2. Riller with his team trailing by 2. Riller holding. Glides to his right. Three-pointer is good. Big bucket by Zep Jasper.
Big bucket, you said it. They call him the Honey Badger because he is relentless on-ball defender, but hasn't shot the ball great from 3 this season. Only 25%, comes up with a huge bucket for Charleston.
And there's a forearm foul on Miller as we head to break, but Colin Smith with strength. We got a scuffle on the court, but Smith scoring back the other way. Jasper answers with a triple. Charleston up by 1. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. You're looking at Miller. We got the update from the officials. We had a little bit of scuffle break out after this forearm foul. Technical called on Miller there, but I believe they also teed up Colin.
Colin Smith, there's a double technical. Colin Smith and Sam Miller both received technicals, so double technical, they cancel out. There's a personal foul on Frank Burtz of UCF as well. It looked like initially it was more than what we thought, but I think it was just some fun language being told back and forth, you know, regular bar talk language, Ari.
Well, Colin Smith with his 19 points, now with that technical, has 4 personals. So that is big for UCF with Colin with just under 7 minutes. The technical also called on Sam Miller, also a personal foul, I believe, goes against Miller as well.
A little surprised with just under 7 here that Colin Smith is still in the ball game with those fouls.
DeJesus hedged on the perimeter. Tough pass to handle, and a tie up here with strength. O.C. Smart, and possession arrow favors the Cougars.
That's the intro class to Point Guard University. You can't throw a bullet pass at the knees of your center and expect good things to happen. You've got to have some touch on the ball.
The turnover. Smart with a little wry smile, the junior from Nigeria. His older brother Ike played hoops at Buffalo and Wake Forest. This kid was captain of his team at not only basketball in high school, but soccer. Only been playing hoops for 6 years.
It's one of the best sports to play if you're a basketball player. All about feet control and balance.
Riller looking for a seam. Able to get it out to Galloway. Beautiful underneath for the dunk for Smart. I don't know how Galloway found O.C. open in the lane.
How about that pass from Galloway? You said it, Ari. That was, I don't know how we saw him. That was big time.
3-point Cougar lead. Ingram. Will he facilitate here? He's asking for a high pick. Mahan comes out. Ingram draws a foul. He plays at such an interesting pace, Mike.
Yeah, and that's a bailout foul by Zep Jasper. And the reason why that's so frustrating is because UCF's offense was stagnant. You know, Charleston was in a perfect position to get a stop on that play, and you relaxed just briefly, and a player like Dazon Ingram can make you pay.
Yeah, he draws you, lulls you to sleep a little bit. Called the high pick and then shifted gears and went by his defender. Ingram with 9 points now. Dazon delivers and hits with his 10th, and that draws the Knights back to within 1.
If I'm UCF, I'm thinking, where is Grant Riller at all times? And you're in a zone right now. That means the players on the side of Riller must know where he's at. They missed him.
Yeah, they lost him momentarily into the corner. Burt's with a smile on his face. He knows.
Too lazy on the swing pass by the Cougars.
Jasper with 5 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. Jasper leans in. Difficult shot put through by Zepp.
Honey Badger don't care. Doesn't care the shot clock's going down. Zepp Jasper.
7 points now. Right on his average. Ingram lost the ball. And maybe a bailout there.
Yeah, I thought that was really good defense by Smart. Check out the Honey Badger. Doesn't care. Getting in the teeth of the defense. Little floater. Love a good floater.
Smart has picked up his second. So Ingram, who appeared to just have lost the handle there, was a little contact. Finds his way back at the free throw line.
Yeah, I thought it was a really heady play by Ingram. It looked like he actually pulled Smart into him because I thought Smart's position and his hand placement was fine. But a really, really heady play by Ingram.
So
Tricking
Milan,
the referees.
Mike Milan departs with Fuller, the freshman, who's been outstanding here with 11 points back on the court. Ingram, 3 of his last 4 for the free throw line. 2-point Charleston advantage. Zepp Jasper. 2 big buckets here for the Cougars in the second half. Riller, ball fake. Alley-oop just over the outstretched arm of Smart as they tried to throw it down.
It was an excellent design play, looking for a drive, little oop, and this is the really first time that Grant Riller has thrown a poor pass in the league that gets dunked. Smart wasn't quite ready for that.
Yeah, you called it, Mike. First turnover of the day for Riller. Mahan drives, hangs, difficult shot, follows his miss. May have gotten fouled. They play on, and out of bounds to the Cougars.
Oh, man, I'm not sure about that call, but you can't review that. You can review out-of-bounds calls under 2 minutes of regulation and overtime, but too much time on the clock, and you can't review that call.
There's the look. Mahan goes up this time. That was all ball by Riller, but UCF claims it was last touch by Grant. Riller over Smith. Oh, Riller the thriller. Nice bounce pass from Smith. Burks is fouled on his reverse layup attempt.
I love Colin Smith's performance this afternoon. I mean, we talked a lot about him drawing fouls, making plays around the rim, but his passing ability, it's the most underrated part of his game. And you got to think with a guy at 6'11" to have that much touch, to throw that bounce pass. Usually you see guys that are running the Princeton offense that are good at those passes, but Colin Smith just making the right play.
McManus has picked up his third. Frank Burtz connects on the free throw. The athletic Epps back on the court, replacing McManus. He's receiving some coaching from Earl Grant. Frank Burtz able to connect on them both at a team-high 13 points against the Hurricanes this season. There's a 2-point lead for Charleston. UCF back to a man-to-man defense here. That confuses Charleston for a moment. Now they go to Riller, guarded by Fuller, just a freshman. Riller from 18, in and out. And Mahan, strong rebound.
Ingram was way too late on the hedge in that pick and roll. I mean, that was a gift. Riller never misses those.
Desan loses his dribble. Green, a sharp shooter in the game. In the corner, Mahan passed up on that open jumper.
Offensive
Foul on Fuller. Well done from Riller.
Not sure where you're driving the basketball for Dre Fuller. He's just trying to make a play. It's not the smart play because he's getting the stare down from Coach Dawkins. The Knights down 2.
Grant Riller has his team up by 2 with his 20 points. Well, the Orlando Magic may want to think about drafting this kid because when he plays in Orlando, He has been outstanding. 33 points against UAB, 32 against Memphis last year in the Avocare Invitational at Disney World, and he's got 20 already here tonight.
Yeah, it's nothing like coming home, Ari. You know, I mean, this is an Ocoee product, averaged 29 points a game at Ocoee. Played for local Orlando legend Willie Anderson in the Q6 All-Stars AAU team. You know, he's got a good contingent of family and friends here from the Orlando area. I'd want to do the same thing. When you come home, especially with a team that maybe didn't recruit you, you want to come in with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And come get up big points.
UCF along with a lot of other schools, because he was rated a 2-star coming out of high school somehow, despite averaging 29 a game at Ocoee.
It's a kid that, I mean, really out of the gate, his freshman year, just came in his first game, he had 20 points and just kept playing consistently well over the course of time. And that team, that Charleston team from 2 years ago, Joe Cheeley, he's going to steal.
Turnover.
Fuller.
Green flying in, he dunks it. And we are tied here at UCF.
The back. His second of the game.
He looks a little bit fatigued coming out of the huddle. A little shake and bake into the corner, Galloway. Back to Riller with 12 to shoot. Guarded by Fuller. Riller with 8, with 7. Galloway out of the corner, yes!
Just all eyes on Riller. A quick little snap pass. Huge three.
Galloway with 14. 4 threes for Galloway. Colin Smith in the post. Underneath, Green had it rejected by Riller, but got hit from behind. The foul goes on McManus.
Colin Smith has been the best facilitator in the half court for UCF. Check out this pass. Double team, doesn't panic. And honestly, that's a really good find by Smith, because Darren Green was not in the right position. He actually ran past the rim, and it was his defender that went and doubled Colin Smith.
So that is the 4th on McManus. Colin Smith, by the way, on the court with 4 fouls of his own. The leading scorer for the Knights with 19. 2 points on the afternoon for Green. And he connects. Darren.
If I was Charleston, if UCF goes to man-to-man on this possession, I'm putting Colin Smith in pick-and-roll coverage with Grant Riller. I want him to make a decision. Do I foul or do I give Riller a jump shot?
Well, Darren Green has hit his first 2 free throws as a Knight, averaging 11 a game. He's drawn UCF to within 1. Smart. McManus. ISO against Smith. Difficult shot.
Yeah,
that's not what the Cougars wanted.
I don't like that at all. I would just think pick and roll all day with the best pick and roll player in college basketball. I am not a fan of that action at all.
Under 2 minutes to play. UCF looking to take the lead. Smith backing down against Smart. Turns to face. Loses the ball to OC.
Good hands by Smart. You see that? Wow.
Crucial turnover there, and Charleston the 1-point lead in the ball. Riller. Ball in his hands now. Riller gets a defender in the air. Excellent defense by Burtz. Loose ball picked up by Green. Minute 20 to play.
This is the time for the Knights to where you slow it down, run your action, and be patient. I think that's a really smart timeout by Coach Dawkins. This is such an important bucket, right? I mean, okay, obvious statement, you're down 1. I get it, Captain Obvious. But you start to have a little bit of rhythm really now for the first time. You got to stop, you get a possession, you get to draw up a play, and who's your guy? Who are you going to? And for me, that guy is always going to be Colin Smith, whether it's an ISO or he's also really good in a pick and roll. Wouldn't mind seeing Dazon Ingram, Colin Smith, pick and roll, really kind of on the weak side with you've got your 3 teammates on the opposite wing, good spacing, and play a 2-man game on a wing.
Yeah, the opposite side, you'll have good 3-point shooting on the court with Burtz and Green. Looks like Fuller is going to sub in for Coach Dawkins. Colin Smith, as you said, such an adept, yet Green is on the court, such an adept passer.
Look at this lineup, though, for UCF. I mean, you're down one at home. You've got 2 freshmen on the court. And Coach Dawkins, it's not about, what grade you're in. It's about how much energy, what are you producing right now? You got Matt Milan on the bench, who's one of the best three-point shooters in college basketball last season, in favor of two true freshmen.
And you've got Mahan on the bench, who had 17 at Illinois State. So Ingram holding, minute 10 to play. Cougars have switched to a zone. Green for 3. Burks the rebound. They reset it to 20 seconds.
I like that shot. That's an open rhythm shot for one of the best three-point shooters in the American Conference.
Smith quickly doubled, hits
Good
a cutting
pass.
Ingram. Ingram draws the contact. Dazon so adept at getting himself to the free throw line.
It's not often that the best facilitator on your team is your front court player, is your post player, but that's been Colin Smith. Receives a double team from strong side, a weak side cut by Dazon Ingram. That is good basketball.
Free throw and is tie here with 51 seconds remaining. 11 points on the day for Ingram. Missed them both. And the rebound out of bounds to Charleston. Costly there. Ingram had been so solid from the free throw line here this afternoon.
Ingram shot that really tight. He short-armed it, finished short on the rim. He wasn't confident enough in himself to knock that free throw down. Those will kill you late in the game. Now, if you're UCF, you're down 1, you're going to get another possession regardless of what happens. 51 seconds left, 30-second shot clock. You're going to get another possession as long as you box out regarding any missed shot or after a made shot. You would probably expect some type of token full court pressure if you're Charleston from UCF. You'd like to see if you can speed up Charleston, but you also don't want to give up any open layups around the rim. If I'm Charleston, if I get an open layup look and Colin Smith's under the rim, I'm attacking him. 4 fouls for Colin Smith.
Yes.
If you break the press and you're able to set up your offense, I don't care about anybody else. I want Riller in a pick and roll, even against the zone. I want to see that. The ball needs to be in Grant Riller's hands.
And there is the man from Orlando, Grant Riller, head coach Earl Grant, drawing up the play in the Charleston huddle as they try to pull off a enormous road victory here at UCF.
When you talk about the Colonial wanting to be a 2-bid league, these are the games you need to win on the road, because you're not going to get extra help in the conference season the way that the NCAA net rankings are set up. You must win road games, and you must win road games against big-time opponents like UCF.
Well, here's the pressure that you talked about, O'Donnell.
It's a 2-2-1 full-court press. I expect it to be a little bit more token pressure. Yeah, so you're not seeing really intense. You're just trying to slow Charleston down and make them second guess. And their offense sets up at 20 seconds on the shot clock.
A job well executed by the Knights. Galloway and the ball in Riller's hands. Gives it up to Miller with just 10 seconds. Backdoor pass. Again, Riller, I think, upset with himself that he gave up the handle on the basketball.
You know what? Jasper was open. But do you want that play? Is that the play you want? A really tough backdoor pass when you got Riller on the right wing? I don't get it.
So Ingram will take it into the front court where he will call timeout right in front of Coach Dawkins. And Johnny will draw something up for a potential game winner here.
Well, with 25 seconds left, that's an eternity. So you have to decide on how you're going to orchestrate your offense. Usually the normal, the average time is around 10 seconds is when you'd want to initiate, right? Because it gives you enough time to run a half-court set efficiently, not leave too much time on the clock for Charleston to just get it, make a play, go off and run. But you also want to allow 1 to 2 seconds for an offensive rebound, because you have the height advantage. You've got Colin Smith. You've been really good on the offensive boards this entire game. You want to leave yourself 1 to 2 seconds for an offensive putback if possible. If you're Charleston, you're thinking about that exact same thing. We got to be strong. We got to be tight with our half-court D. We know we're probably going to expect some type of ball screen. And when the shot goes up, the box out is the most important thing.
Well, both teams have tightened up offensively. No field goals in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds for the Knights. College of Charleston scoreless in the last 2:19. Let's see what happens here. Charleston by 1, 25 seconds to play. Knight Nation jumping up and down in their seats. The anticipation here for UCF, trying to protect their home court against this very good Charleston team. Burtz will be the trigger man.
And if you're Charleston, who are the shooters for UCF? Darren Green and Frank Burtz. Those are your 2 3-point shooters on the court for the Knights.
Fuller also on the court in crunch time for Coach Dawkins. They come into Ingram. Dejan holding, waiting for someone to flash. Still holding with 18. They get it to Smith with the ISO. Collin isolation through the lane, tripped up, and there is the whistle. With 13.8 seconds remaining in this one, Collin Smith to the line.
They ran that play a little bit earlier in the clock than they thought they were going to do, but an ISO play for Collin Smith, who's been awesome this afternoon, gets the tripping foul call at the line.
Collin Smith to the free throw line. 19 points for Smith on the day and make it 20. We are tied at 71. 8 of 9 from the foul line for Smith. He came in at just 50% and 90% here today. Knights by 1. Jasper with 11 seconds. Ritter. Let's see if Coach Grant will call timeout. He's letting them play. 6, 5, 4, 3. Ritter with 2, with 1. No good. Knights by 1 in a thriller.
Well, you got the shot you kind of wanted if you're Charleston. I mean, that's your guy. Grant Riller, one of the best scorers in college basketball, had an opportunity to win it at the buzzer. That was really good late-game defense by UCF, particularly.
Hedge and jump out defensively by the Knights. Riller, let's take a look at it again. Did he wait a little bit too long to go,
so.
Mike?
I think so. I agree with you, Ari. But watch the contest. Those long arms of Collin Smith forced Grant Riller to fade away. Now, he can make that shot, but that's just about as well as you can defend Grant Riller on a late-game situation. Good job by UCF.
Terrific defensive trip. Collin Smith, his 2 free throws win it for UCF. They take Charleston by 1. What a game at UCF. For my partner, Mike O'Donnell, I'm Ari Shannon. So long from Orlando.